My name's T. I don't have coffee, but normally this would be T&Coffee. This is Beau. He's a friend of mine, tattoo artist, dad, bus house renovator, schoolie dweller.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm super fascinated by that actually. That's one of the reasons that I wanted to talk to you, because that bus thing just fascinates me. So dude, you bought your bus. You're renovating it.
Mm-hmm.
You're living in it now.
Mm-hmm.
What's the state that it's in now? I'm gonna try to go back there and visit and maybe get some video of it.
I'll be honest, man. It's still at this moment. I'm at the point where it's turning. Like, it doesn't look like a school bus anymore. You can tell it's like.
I saw the pictures.
Yeah, like it's really come a long way. And I think painting it, getting it away from that primer gray, like that prep, that base layer over the yellow, it's really transformed the way it looks. And even when I was standing on it yesterday, it was on the deck, which we just got finished, overlooking like the property that it's at, and it's just green and you know, beautiful out there. I'm like, man, this is crazy, because I remember in day 2 of tearing all the seats out, I really felt like maybe I just lost it a little bit. Like maybe I'm falling off, like I'm going crazy. How
did you pick the bus, man? Because that's one of the things that got me.
I'll be honest, that was the reckless part, because I found one on Craigslist. Let me back up a little bit.
Yeah.
I was actually looking at yurts and property, and then I realized buying property would cost just as much as buying a $120,000 to $200,000 house. I was like, well, man, if you're paying the amount for property that you would a whole house, maybe I should look at houses. And then someone was like, well, there's these yurts, you could do that. You can build a very small yurt on a little piece of land. And
what's a yurt? Sorry.
So a yurt is it's almost like a tent, but it would be more like a dome. It's got a big canvas that goes over the top of this like wooden structure, like a modest wooden structure. I stayed in one for a week. It was kind of neat, and you feel closer to nature. You're like really, you can hear everything. You know, a twig outside could break, you're gonna hear it. You know, you can hear rain, you can hear birds. It was really therapeutic, really cool, and that kick-started this idea about tiny living. And then I was looking at vans, I was looking at buses, and then I found a bus in Kings Mountain on Craigslist, and that's about an hour away. Really, there wasn't anything comparable in size or price that was even in the same state. So when I saw it, I thought about it for like maybe a night, and then I called the guy and I gave him an offer, which was refused generously. He was like, there's already people wanting this bus. So I just, as soon as I had the opportunity to go get it, I did. I just gave him what he was asking. It drove an hour from Kings Mountain without flaw, but I was like, man, this is a huge risk. It's a 30,000 pound vehicle I know nothing about. I'm handing over cash. I don't know if it's got mechanical issues. Just because it runs and he pulled it out of a compound doesn't mean it will run for cross-country trips or whatever it may be. So, I mean, that was kind of scary, and that's the reckless part, I think.
Like, what led up to you wanting to do that? I want to know the life circumstance that led up to you wanting to say, hey, I want to do this bus thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was just at the point where I wanted change, you know? And you need something fresh in your life once in a while, like shake things up, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think that was it for me, just kind of shaking things up, trying something new, and there was some excitement to be had out of it all, which is still there.
So when you're building this bus, when you first buy it, it's an ordinary bus. Are you looking up like YouTube tutorials? Like,
dude,
how to do this?
You have no idea, man. That was part of what consumed me. Once I got it started, like once I like scratched the surface, there was so much. Like, then I realized how popular it was. It was way more popular than I ever would have imagined. People were doing it with all different sizes of buses and different makes, and you know, they're cutting the roof and raising the roof up. Some of them were leaving them alone. Like, there was all these different ways of doing it.
Wow.
So I automatically just got like geared up to make it my own.
So what's been the hardest part so far? You're living in it currently.
Currently, yeah. I think with that said, having stuff in your way while you build, like if I wasn't living in it, I think, you know, and just having tools on it, having projects that are still kind of unfolding. You know, the bedroom is completely done. It's a 12-foot by 7.5-foot bedroom, so it's quite large. That's completely done, but the hardest part living in it is trying to work around that. And then, you know, just moving stuff out of the way while you're doing these things, or not making a mess of the part that you finished. I think that's kind of been a challenge.
By the way, so it's only been like a year.
Yeah.
So you've gone from regular bust to the room fully done. What do you think is the point where you're like, all right, I'm finished, I'm traveling? How far do you got to get?
Well, see, and that's the thing. A lot of people that have been doing this longer mention that they don't feel like their bus really is ever done. I mean, even if they're at the point where like the average person could walk in and be like, wow, this is immaculate, like, how'd you do this? The person that owns it might see like 18 things that they haven't finished yet, things that they want to address, touch up. Maybe they have ambition to do different projects in the future, and it doesn't all have to be done to hit the road, but it has to be safe. It has to be like, it's got to accommodate certain needs like water and, you know, toiletries and stuff like that, or cooking if you're set up to cook. Some of them aren't, some of them are. Mine will have a full kitchen, which is pretty cool.
Wow.
There's that, I think. So it's, and again, this is totally like arbitrary. It's just doing whatever I can to make it interesting.
Right.
So, or make it my own, so to speak.
That sounds like it'd just be a super cool way to live life. It's just to drive anywhere you want, just land on any campground.
Yeah.
And just do it.
Yeah.
What about the gas mileage?
That's the thing, man. That's the thing.
Because
so,
gas is like $3 a gallon where we are.
The average bus this size, and mine's a 40-foot, it's a 1996 40-foot Thomas-built bus. It's a what they call a flat nose with a rear motor. The motor's in the back. It's just flat. You got a big windshield. Think like gas in that thing. They anticipate the average person is going to spend around $1,500 to get a rig that size across the country. So if you just want to use that as a scale, like anticipate probably if you want to go from the East Coast to the West Coast, $1,500. And I think that's like a very bare minimum. I could see you spending more if your bus was really heavy. My bus is definitely not light. If it were smaller, maybe a 23-footer, it would probably do better. But, you know, and those little Sprinter vans, obviously, they get great gas mileage, I'm guessing.
I mean, in comparison, probably.
Yeah. So, yeah. But, I mean, it's really, it determines, I think, how big the bus is, what you do to the build. So I've kind of went all out. Like, I've overbuilt. Everything's really strong, supported with multiple, you know, like beams, just whatever it needed to be, like, really structurally, like, sound. So I went kind of above and beyond, which definitely made it heavier.
So what are your plans, like, once it's all finished?
Well, the initial goal, like, half of
We're
what
not
I
finished,
wanted,
but...
Well, yeah, because
the
it's
point
like,
where-
there's going to be that feeling where I feel like it's never finished. But
Yeah.
that's good, because it'll just constantly be an improvement. The goal was to just be able to, you know, relocate at a moment's notice and just travel. I think our houses are great, but they are a large part of why people don't travel. They're busy working to pay for those houses, so they're not able to just get up and go. Well, if you take your home with you, you're more apt to do those things. So just getting more in touch with my newfound self, more with nature, just being a part of the life while we're here, the bus is perfect for that.
So what's on your plans for the future, Beau? Just in general, does it have to be with the bus or your tattoo or anything? Like,
I've been putting a lot of thought into that, honestly, dude. You know, me and my girlfriend have been doing well, like going strong.
Golf clap?
Yeah. I'm not totally sick of it, you know. I'm joking. I always joke that I'm bad at relationships, but I think there's a little truth behind every joke, but this one's been better. And like, she's super patient.
Yeah.
She actually helps on the bus, which it takes a lot of patience to even do that, because I don't know what I'm doing. She's trying to help. She needs directions from me. It's like asking your boss what to do and he doesn't know. It's like, and granted, I'm not anybody's boss on this build by any means.
Right.
But it's like, I'm supposed to be kind of giving like direction and I don't even know what to do. But she's been really patient with that. And just in general, when you talk about the future, she's a big part of it now, you know. I want to have, you know, kids in the future. I want to get the bus on the road and really like maybe throw a lot more travel on my Instagram. You know, I'm getting close to that 10K mark with the tattooing and just the followers that are on my Instagram. I would love to incorporate more of my bus life and share that with people that have been following me for the last few years. I think that's kind of in my sights too.
So have you ever thought about like, have you ever thought about just a point in life where you're maybe not doing tattoos anymore?
Dude, I think about it all the time. But like more in the last few years than ever. But it's not that I don't like tattooing. It's just that I'm so passionate about other things that I want to put a lot of energy into that. And I constantly wonder, I'm like, can I do both? And I'm sure the answer is probably yeah, but like tattooing really consumes me. Like I'm constantly talking to clients, I'm constantly like looking up material or drawing, you know, and it's definitely a job. It's not like I'm living the high life. It is still work. It's my choice to do this for work, and it's what pays the bills. But there's days where I have mad fun, you know, with EJ's tattoos, for example. Have a bunch of fun on that.
Hell yeah.
But then there's days where it's very challenging, and then there's that backtrack to what we talked about, it being permanent. There's a stress that like lies in the thick of it all that you've got to really hone in and be careful, because you don't want to disappoint someone.
Yeah.
It's like a forever disappointment. It's like,
It is a forever disappointment.
Yeah.
It's not a joke. It's not like music where, you know, once you make a song, you could always do edits. You're playing full analog. Like
Yeah.
you're playing analog instruments, and there's no forgiveness for mistakes.
Yeah, but on a real note, yeah, I have thought about a world where there was less, you know, hustle and tattooing, and a future that focused more on the things that have kind of inspired me in the last 2 years.
What do you think you would be doing if it wasn't tattooing?
I did think of that probably a few months ago, and I think it would be working with wood. It sounds weird, but
yeah.
I really enjoy
That sounds
the
relaxing
smell
just
of
saying it.
cutting. Yeah, dude, like cutting cedar, like for the bus, like all the cuts that I've had to do, like hundreds of cuts. Like that smells good, and then just being that the bus interior is all like very cabin-like. Like, dude, from the door to the bedroom that I built by hand to the front door is all built by hand. It's all built out of wood, which you definitely have to come see it so you have like a really good perspective. You've seen photos, but like really being in it to scale is crazy. But I think working with wood would be like the thing I did.
Yo, what's up, guys? It's T, and I hope that you've enjoyed this interview so far. Unfortunately, when I got home to edit this video, I noticed that a lot of the in footage for both interviews, by the way, because there was two, we did this twice, and that's why in the middle of this video, you notice that we went from talking in 2 chairs to talking over a table. So a lot of the in footage for both of those just somehow was corrupted on my SD card, and I lost that info. I know. It was probably my fault. I apologize for that. But Beau, I just wanted to tell you, thanks for coming in, dude. For real, we had a great conversation. You know, you've really sparked up this desire to do a podcast and to be an interviewer. I think that it was a lot of fun, and I learned a lot about that. We've talked, and we're going to be coming on again so that we could finish the rest of the interview for you guys on a later video. But in the meantime, stay tuned. I do have other people that are going to be coming on who I think are really dope and interesting people. We're going to have some dank conversations. So if you're into that kind of thing, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you in the next Tea and Coffee. Holla.